Tonight we kick off our first preseason game against Wrexham FC at 1 AM. Now I can't be the only one that's excited to see what Pochettino does with this new squad. I can't be the only one that's excited to see what type of new ideas, way of playing, combinations, tactics that we should be seeing in our first game later tonight. We've all been following this team throughout preseason. We've been seeing the work the team's been putting in behind the scenes. And in today's preview, I'm going to be going through all things preseason. I'm going to dissect everything we know about Pochettino, tactics and training during our US tour so far. I'm going to go through the predicted lineups based on evidence we're getting from training sessions. I'm going to go through Pochettino and NKUNKU's press conference, and obviously I'll give my prediction right at the end as well too. So I hope you guys are feeling optimistic and excited for our game later tonight. Hit that like button if you guys are gassed that preseason games are finally kicking off. And of course, share your thoughts and opinions too, my friends. But before I continue on, today's video is brought to you by OneFootball. Download OneFootball to stay up to date to all things preseason news, as well as transfer news happening around the scenes. Now, as we know, Pochettino is okay with the squad he has right now, but he is waiting for us to start bringing in additions. So if you guys want to stay up to date to all the latest news around potential additions, make sure you guys have OneFootball to get up to date, curated information around this club. As we can see, Aubameyang now is set to sign for Marseille. We're getting some updates now around stadium redevelopment plans, plus a ton more news is coming out too, which I'll cover tomorrow because right now, today I'm only focusing on all things preseason. So my friends, you will find a link below to download OneFootball in the description below and the QR code on screen too. Make sure you guys do that because I'm telling you, it's a very handy app here. So without wasting any more time, so let's start things off by discussing everything we know about what's happening during preseason right now. As we know, our sporting directors, as well as our owner in Egbali, they are attending open training sessions to, of course, oversee how Pochettino is preparing the squads. Right now, we're seeing the team divided into two groups. We're seeing a senior group and we're seeing a youth group. On top of this too, certain players are being put on individual training sessions, and they include guys like Christopher NKUNKU, Levi Cole, Enzo Fernandez, and I guess that makes a bit of sense because these guys joined the squad quite late. So I guess their preparation isn't necessarily the same as the rest of the squad, so these guys need to do some individual sessions to get up to speed. Now in terms of details around training, we're seeing a lot of strength conditioning at this point in time. We're seeing elastic bands being used, and some of the reasons as to why elastic bands are used, of course, is to improve strength and explosiveness, and also it improves the agility, a bit of speed as well too, but most importantly, it strengthens the deep muscles in players. And of course, with Pochettino and his playing style, it's a very intense playing style, so the players' bodies must be conditioned to get used to this new way of playing. And considering how last season was awful in terms of conditioning, fitness, stamina, we had some of the worst stamina levels in the Premier League, and of course that really affected our ability to win games. So these guys must go back to basics, and it seems like they're really enjoying life training under Pochettino. Now, a few fans were in attendance for our open training session. I was lucky enough to speak to them to get some more insight and details behind what was actually happening during the sessions. And one thing that was really stressed me was the intensity throughout. Like, it's a very intense training session. There's a lot of running, a lot of movement, a lot of jumping, a lot of explosiveness. But we also saw some work being done with the football, which of course is very important. Now, in terms of formations, we saw two formations being used in the open training session. That was a 4-2-3-1 and that was a 4-3-3. And based on someone I was having a conversation with who was in attendance with this training session, he mentioned the fact that he was seeing a 4-2-3-1 morph into a 4-3-3 and vice versa. So, as I mentioned in my previous video yesterday, we understand that Pochettino wants to play 4-2-3-1, but we don't necessarily have that Eriksen style guy who plays on the right hand side that would slot into midfield, of course, once we're attacking on the ball. So for me, it made sense that Pochettino would have to show some adaptation to the players he currently possesses. And it sounds pretty exciting to me that we're getting some signs now that we could be a 4-3-3 team as well as a 4-2-3-1. I think that suits the personnel we have in the squad. If this can allow Enzo Fernandez to play a bit closer to goal, combined with NKUNKU, and all that good stuff. And my friends, that makes me feel very optimistic for what I'm about to see. And I guess this interchangeability wouldn't be a surprise because Pochettino has always done this. Even when he's using like a 4-2-3-1, that morphs into like a 3-4-3 when his teams are attacking. So, you know, I'm really curious and interested to see now how our first game's going to be like against Wrexham. So now, my friends, let's discuss some of the details that we learned from Pochettino and NKUNKU when they took press duties for the preview before the game. We start with Pochettino first, and as he states, he feels very sad that Fofana picks up this ACL injury. Like, I wonder if we get any context behind how Fofana actually sustained this to begin with. It's unfortunate timing, but even though Pochettino heavily sympathised with Fofana, he also put out a challenge now to the rest of the available fit defenders now to be like, listen, essentially a spot is open right now. It's time to compete and it's time to show what you're really about. And obviously you're looking at guys like Cole, you're looking at Trevor Chalobah, for example. So let's see how these guys respond now to like a spot being opened up. Pochettino revealed that he likes the commitment that the players are showing. I think we're seeing that for ourselves. There's a lot of like positivity and good vibes going on around the club right now, but he also said he still wants a strong squad in that sense, and he's still waiting for additions to actually come to the team. He revealed that he's very excited to build and develop a new way for the club to operate, and I think that over the years we've tried to do new things, but we found it very hard to move on from our old way of doing things. Now that we have a new owner, a new manager, and literally nearly a new squad, this is like one of the most new Chelsea teams that we've seen now, probably since Roman first took over all those years back. So be very excited to see what's going to happen. To move on, we got some information around the left back situation. I mean, we've got Ben, Kuku, Maatsen, Lewis Hall. That's a lot of talent for a position where only one guy can play and compete. And essentially Pochettino separated these guys into two groups, the seniors and the youth. He revealed that, listen, you know, compete for your spot during preseason. There's no guarantees at this point in time. So let's see how Lewis Hall, Maatsen and others compete. But realistically, you're expecting one to get loaned out and one to get sold, and currently it seems to be favoured towards the youth players compared to the experienced guys. So now to continue on, Pochettino revealed that he's held very positive talks with both Mykhailo Mudryk and Levi Cole. Now, Pochettino was impressed by the application Mudryk showed by representing Ukraine during the Under-21 tournament, and he also had very nice conversations with Levi Cole. And right now, I'm not feeling nervous at all that Cole leaves because we basically have no defenders, so this guy can't go nowhere. Pochettino stressed that he is currently focusing on building the team condition, getting the intensity levels right, because it's going to be a very demanding Premier League season. So that's Pochettino out the way. We move on to NKUNKU, and to summarize his press conference, he reveals that he wants to stay here for next season and he wants to fight for his spot. Now, as I listened to him, I was getting a vibe that there was definitely something going on behind the scenes last season. He revealed, not into too much detail, that yeah, something was probably happening. He mentioned that during like a certain period of the season, especially his games versus Dortmund, that was like the real NKUNKU, and we have to admit they were good performances. So NKUNKU feels like confidence is such a big part in allowing players to play their best football. Last season wasn't necessarily ideal. It was a squad full of guys that he himself said, lots of unhappy guys that aren't playing. You know, we're a team that's losing at the same time. We have different managers literally every single month. The situation was not easy, but right now he is ready to leave those things in the past. He's had conversations with the right people behind the scenes to explain how his season went last season, but right now he feels focused, he feels confident, and he feels ready. He accepts that he must compete for a spot alongside Ben Chilwell, but that isn't putting him off at this point in time. So listen, credit to NKUNKU. I feel like it's very easy to just write players off. Listen, I was critical too, and I'm still not going to take that back. If NKUNKU now is ready to come back with a new mentality and focus, then let's see how he performs during pre-season. So that's the press conference out the way. Now, my friends, let's discuss the predicted lineups we should be seeing tonight versus Wrexham. I'm going to give you guys a bit of insight right now. I revealed earlier that we saw two different teams, a senior team in that sense and a youth team. Now, in terms of the youth team, this was a lineup that consisted of Nicholas Jackson up front. In attack, it was Ian Maatsen, Carney, and Diego Moreira. In midfield, it was Santos and Casede. Defence was NKUNKU, Humphreys, Trevor Chalobah, Malo Gusto, and Luca Bergstrom. So, that was the B team. And moving on to the first team, it was kind of hard to get an understanding of what this necessarily was, but based on everything I've been hearing from people, I think the team went like this. Similar lineup, but this time Bergstrom was still in goal. In defence, it was Lewis Hall, Levi Colwill, Thiago Silva and Ben Chilwell. Midfield of Gallagher and Enzo Fernandez. And I think up front it was Sterling, NKUNKU, Mudryk and either one of Burstow or Angelo Gabriel. But I think another interesting thing I heard was that I think maybe a Mudryk or Sterling was even playing up front during this, first team training session. Let's see if that's going to be the case later tonight though. But as the first team were training, I feel like that's when your Enzos and Nkunkus and others then left to start doing their individual training sessions, and they were replaced with other players to make that team up. So my friends, in terms of a predicted lineup for tonight, because it's pre-season, I'm expecting the first half to be maybe Team A, the first team the senior team, and I'm expecting the second half to consist of the B team, aka the youth team that I've just been discussing. So it'll be interesting to see if we see any overlaps as the game goes on. If Pochettino may introduce other guys as the game is going on, that'll be interesting. Right now, in terms of tactics, it seems like it's set to be a 4-2-3-1 that does morph into a 4-3-3. So I'm very interested to see how that's going to play out, and if the information I'm hearing is even correct to begin with. But regardless, man, it's really exciting to know that finally we can watch our team playing football again. Now, of course, in terms of performances, we're excited to see. That's going to be NKUNKU. Like, he is the number one guy I want to see the most in terms of how he's going to play, how he's going to be used, and how he's going to combine and link up. But this guy is no joke, yeah? This guy's a serious player. I'm liking what he's showing so far in the brief training session clips, and yeah, I'm really excited to see how he's going to be used. I'm hoping too that maybe Angelo Gabriel, the new right winger we've signed, gets some opportunities. We saw some interesting additions to the squads. Of course, 17-year-old Jamaican wonderkid striker and Dejon Richards. He was playing alongside the first team. Let's see if he gets any minutes to impress as well too. So my friends, that's an idea of the predicted lineup. Share your thoughts and opinions and let us know who is that one player you are the most excited to see tonight. Share your thoughts below. So my friends, let's now end things with my match prediction for the game tonight. And come on, like, how am I not expecting to see goals? I'm going to be going for a 4-1 win. Now listen, I'm probably being ambitious, but luckily for me, pre-season doesn't matter as much. But I'm really excited to see how the team is going to combine in attack and some of the little patterns and ideas that these guys have been working upon at this point in time. I wouldn't be surprised if we concede a goal because we're going to see a lot of rotation in this first game. Now, this is the first game of pre-season. It's not necessarily the most serious one. As we play against Brighton and other teams during this pre-season tour, things will get more serious as we get ready for the start of the Premier League season. So today we should not be too critical behind what we see. We have to understand it's an opportunity for everyone to get some match fitness right now, and you know, this is the platform in which we build from. So my friends, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. That is all things pre-season for our game against Wrexham. And hit the like button if you guys liked it. I ain't asking for too much, my guys. So I'm NKUNKU. This is BlueLionsTV. We'll catch you guys later with some more videos. Cool.